Howdy people, this is Mr. Noland back again. Today we are going to be doing an in-class review video, and this is over integer operations. So adding and subtracting integers along with multiplying and dividing integers. We're going to start by looking at number 2. Number 1 we crossed off because the wording was not that good. So let's look at number 2. It takes most oceans about 6 hours to go from high tide to low tide. Suppose that the water level decreases at a rate of 3 feet per hour. During this time, how much does the water level change? Well, first of all, it goes on for 6 hours. And we're going to have to multiply that by how many feet it changes each hour. Well, if we look at this word decreases, if you are decreasing, it's like you're taking away. That is a negative. So it decreases 3 feet per hour. Well, what is a positive times a negative? Well, it is a negative. 6 times 3 is 18. So after 6 hours, the ocean went down 18 feet. Right. Let's look at number 3. Here we're talking about money, which is what we all use every single day of our lives. Number 3 says Taylor had a balance of $43 in her checking account. Without knowing her balance, she wrote a check for $30 and used her debit card for a $17 purchase and a $36 purchase. What is Taylor's balance after her check and purchases? Well, she started with $43. Then it says she wrote a check. Guys, if you write a check, you're losing money. You're not gaining that money, so I have to take 30 away. So 43 take away 30 leaves her with $13. But then she uses her debit card. Guys, if you go spend money, are you adding that to your account or are you taking that away? Well, you are taking that away. So we have $13, but we have to take away 17. Well, I'm going to separate out each term. What do you have more of here, positives or negatives? Well, yes, we have more negatives. And since the signs are different, you have to subtract the numbers. So 17 minus 13 is 4. So right now, she owes $4. But we're not done yet because she went and got another purchase. She probably got her hair done or something. I don't know. But she spent another $36. Again, I'm going to separate out each term. If you notice here, the signs are the same. So you keep the sign and you add the numbers. So right now she is in debt, or she owes $40. So that is a negative 40 for the answer. Alright, number 4. Dolores, a certified scuba diver, dove to a depth of 50 feet below the ocean surface to study a reef. After exploring the reef, she ascended 18 feet to view a school of fish. That's funny, fish at school. What was Dolores' depth after her ascension? So let's underline some keywords here. First of all, she was 50 feet below. Guys, if you are below something, is that a positive or a negative? Correct, you're below the ocean, so that is a negative 50. And then we have this other big word, ascended. Ascended means you go up. If you go up, that is a positive. So our integer setup is negative 50 plus 18. So let's separate out each term. What do you have more of here, negatives or positives? Well, we have more negatives. And since the signs are different, you have to subtract the numbers. So 50 take away 18 is 32, which means Dolores is still 32 feet below the ocean. Alright, number 5. Ernest's team played the Luna Longhorns. At halftime, the team's statistician told them they had negative 36 total yards. They fought hard in the second half, and by the end of the game, they had 75 yards. What integer represents their team's total gain in the second half? So we have to figure out how many yards they gained in the second half. Well, in total, they had 75 yards. And what we're doing is we're going to find the difference from the total yards they gained at the end of the game from how many yards they had in the first half. So we have to find the difference. The word difference means to subtract. So I'm going to take my 75 total yards minus what was their yardage in the first half? Well, it was a negative 36, which means their offense was terrible. Sounds like the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm a Cowboys fan. All right, now if we look here, we got double negatives. Back-to-back double negatives. What happens when you have back-to-back double negatives? Well, it turns into a positive. So now we have 75 plus 36, which is 111. So they gained 111 yards in the second half. Here's how you check your work if you are unsure. Let's see here. We take what they had in the first half. You take what they have in the second half. And we have to see if it gives us our total, which was 75. So if we look closely here, what do I have more of? Positives or negatives? I have more positives, so my answer is positive. And since the signs are different, subtract. 111 minus 36. Let's see here. 11. Oh, would you look at that? After we reshow our work, we get 75 total yards, which is how much they had total. So our answer of 111 is a very good answer. All right, let's turn to the back. An archaeologist descends 22 feet into a canyon and then climbs up 15 feet. What integer represents his final position relative to where he started? Okay. Well, this word right here, descends. Descends means he's going down. So if you go down, is that a positive or a negative? It is a negative, so he went down 22. But then it says he climbs up. If you are going up, you are gaining something, which is a positive. All right, so we have a negative 22 and a positive 15. I'm going to separate out each term. Now, what do we have more of, negatives or positives? We have more negatives, so my answer is negative. And since these two signs are different, you have to subtract the numbers. So 22 minus 15 is 7. So he's still 7 feet below where he started. All right, number 7. Ariel had a checking account balance of $216. All right, so she has some money. She has $216. She made a withdrawal. Guys, if you make a withdrawal, you got to take that money out of your bank. So we have to take it away. So let's go ahead and subtract the 80 here. Well, now she has $136. So we already used the $216, and we already used the $80. But then she went and paid for something. She went and, I don't know, she went out and entertained herself, and she spent $56. So if you spend money, is that adding or taking away? Well, good, you got to take it away. So let's go ahead and do that math. Well, now she has $80. So I already used that 56 now. So we have $80, and then she made a deposit. So if you make a deposit here, it's like you're saving it. You get to put that back into your bank account, so that is a positive thing. So here's her deposit, plus here's the $80 she still has left. Let's do the math. And Ariel has a total of $202 in her bank account. Man, I'm a school teacher. I wish I had $202, but man, it's all right. All right, here we go. Number 8. A skydiver jumps out of the plane at 10,000 feet above the ground. The skydiver descends at a rate of 175 feet per second. How high in the air is the skydiver when he opens his parachute after 25 seconds? Well, this is going to be a multi-step problem. We know that he is 10,000 feet above the ground. So I'm going to write that off here off to the side. The skydiver, think about a skydiver. You think he's going up higher in the sky, or is he falling down? Well, yeah, he's falling down. So this word descends means he's going down, which is a negative. He's going down 175 feet each second. I think if I was doing that, I would have a heart attack. We want to know how far has he fallen after 25 seconds. So I'm going to take that negative 175, and I'm going to have to multiply that by the 25 seconds. So let's do that math. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 2 is 37. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Second row, add a 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Add straight down. So he has fallen 4,375 feet. But that's not what the question asks. The question wants to know how high in the air is the skydiver when he opens the parachute after 25 seconds. So we're going to take where he started, and we're going to subtract how far he's fallen. And that'll give us our final answer of where he's at now. So let's go ahead and do our math. And after we did the math, I had 5,625 feet. So he is still over 5,000 feet in the air. That is your answer. All right, this last little bit's going to go a lot quicker here. I'm going to separate out each term. Here we have a double sign. If the double signs are different, it becomes a negative. So I have negative 16 minus 8. Separate out each term. Now notice these signs are the same. So keep the sign, add the numbers. Negative 24 is the answer there. Number 10. Separate out each term. Again, signs are the same. Keep the sign, add the numbers. Right here. What do you have more of, negatives or positives? Well, you have more positives, so your answer is positive. Subtract the numbers. 3 minus 2 is 1. Separate out each term. Same thing here with the double signs. If the double signs are different, it becomes a negative. Now what do you have more of, positives or negatives? You have more positives, so your answer is positive. But you have to subtract the numbers. So 8 minus 4 is 4. Separate out each term. Signs are the same. Keep the sign. Add the numbers. Number 14. Now we're dividing. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 12 divided by 6 is 2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 32 divided by 8 is 4. A negative times a positive is a negative. 11 times 2 is 22. A negative times a negative is a positive. 9 times 3 is 27. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. And here, notice how they both end in zeros? I can take a 0 off at the end, and you're just left with the 10. Now, for multiplying and dividing, remember we have the sleepy triangle. Remember the way it works is you cover up one with your finger. The one you are covering up is your answer. A negative times a positive is a negative. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I'm going to keep this nice and simple. Here's the tic-tac-toe method. Tic-tac-toe, 3 positives in a row. When you are multiplying or dividing, if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. When you are multiplying or dividing, if the signs are different, the answer is negative. Alright guys, I hope this video helps. I would definitely review this video to help you out with your test. Alright guys, have a good one. Bye.